You are listening to My Online Friends.
You are listening to My
Digital
Online Friends.
Lobotomy.
A housebound production.
That's a gang stalker parts where my uncle lives.
I'm truly having a hashtag crash out moment.
It's him. Oh, he's so sexy. Yes, sir. I'd do anything for him. I'd submit to him. Control me.
Exhale the urge to stage the perfect brunch photo.
Oh.
Breathe in self-acceptance.
Oh.
Breathe out the compulsion to check your likes every 30 seconds. Inhale confidence. Exhale the anxiety of a pending friend request. Now, bring your attention to your thumbs. Feel the phantom sensation of scrolling.
Open your phone and become a member of our Patreon.
Accept it without judgment,
Open your phone and become a member of our Patreon.
recognizing it as a habit that's become as automatic as breathing.
Open your phone and become a member of our Patreon. www.patreon.com/myonlinefriends. Digital Lobotomy.
It costs less than your daily coffee, fuck nigga.
I'm kind of just a guy. I mean, I don't really know how to describe who I am or what I do. I'm just a person, but
Yeah. Sorry to like approach it in such a fucking formal.
It's fine, man. I mean, I'm just like basically I was born in New York City, October 24th, 1995, and I'm a twin. I have a little sister. I'm Jewish. And I kind of have had like an unexplainable life. I've had a lot of things happen to me which I can't put into words. I'm probably the smartest person who's ever lived. Literally. So, to talk about any one subject is kind of, I guess, difficult for me, but if you have any questions, basically, I can just answer them to the best of my ability. Questions about anything. You can ask me anything about the meaning of life, and I will get back to you with like the truest interpretation that I have.
Hell yeah. Shit. I mean, let's see. I'll start with what I already know is that you eat like raw meat. I don't know if it's like a fully raw diet, but
Yeah.
is it raw? Like, do you cook any meat, or is it just like
that was like a part of my process back in the beginning of the summer. I underwent like a very intense spiritual experience, and basically it necessitated that I eat a lot of raw meat for a while. Beef in particular, because it's like a fertile symbol. But I'm not doing that much these days. I mean, I will occasionally partake. My favorite food is probably steak tartare, but lately I eat cooked meat. I don't eat pork though.
Yeah.
I don't eat seafood because there's microplastics in seafood.
Oh, okay, true.
So, but I mean, I keep like a kind of reformed kosher, like I'm Jewish, like I said, and but instead of just shellfish, I don't eat any seafood. I try not to eat meat and dairy because I find it kind of lowers my energetic level. But there will be times when that's necessary. So it's kind of like whatever it goes. But I'm also sober. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't ingest caffeine. Don't do drugs. I've been sober for 6 years. I'm 29. I just turned 29. And basically, I mean, I think if if you're trying to live a lifestyle that's like spiritually fit, that's probably the best thing you can do, but it's not for everyone. There's, most people won't even really see the point to doing that. But for those who do, that's, being as clear as possible. I mean, basically to me, most of the world is completely lost. Most of the people in it are completely lost. They're doing things which don't serve them, and they don't even have awareness of why. And generally, if you trace it back, it goes down to being selfish or scared. And so people will attempt to get what they think they want by hurting themselves.
Yeah.
And they'll do that by hurting others, or by, like last night, I don't go out much. I don't socialize much, but last night I went to a rave, and, it's a bunch of people fucked up trying to be cool. And it's like, the way to be cool is not to be fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
it's like it's like shooting yourself in the foot and then trying to run a marathon. It's like retarded is what it is. It's, it's like the coolest thing you can do is be yourself. And the main effect of doing substances is getting away from yourself. So,
it's just like a escapism.
And you can see that, in basically anything. I mean, in making art, the realist, the best art is what's true.
Yeah.
And, people, they step up to the plate and they think, what am I going to do? And they choke, and they're like, oh, I have to try. Like,
right.
Like trying is failing, doing is being. So it's like, you listen to that voice inside and you just do what it tells you. But people do whatever they can to get away from that voice because they're scared. Anyway, so I'll tell you a little bit more, basically, I guess, about how I came to be linked up with like Mike the Ruler, and why, I have this like ephemeral sort of clout.
I'm not too much interested in the clout. I guess I'm just kind of like you seem like an interesting guy, just in your kind of like vibe and stuff. I mean, obviously it's like the internet, so I don't know you as
I mean, I think the best way to describe myself would be like as a true underground legend, and the only people who really know about me are people who are meant to. In 2016, I had a, I guess one of many spiritual awakenings, and I shaved the middle of my head. I was dealing drugs at the time, and I had a lot of money that I spent all my money on Rick Owens. So I had like a huge archive of Rick Owens, like, and this was back before that was really like a mainstream interest.
Yeah. For the opium.
I got, I just sort of got linked up with people who are into that. My good friend Walter, Sober Young Walter on Instagram. I met him at a V-Files Race Remord pop-up, and then a couple weeks after that, maybe 1 week after that, he brought Mike the Ruler to my house, who was 16 at the time, to show him my Rick, and he was like, oh yeah, you probably have the best collection of Rick Owens in New York. And at the time, that was true. So that's basically, I was 20, Mike was 16, Walter was, I guess he would have been probably 18, about to turn, maybe even 17. It might have been before his 18th birthday, but, or yeah, he was definitely 17, actually. He was born in 98. But anyway, that sort of, that just happened by chance or providence, whatever you want to call it. But I got linked up with those kids, and, I made this website where I modeled all my Rick Owens with like my dick out. I had, I created a separate product shot for each product, and I would only wear that product. So, if I was wearing a shirt, I would only be wearing the shirt, no pants. So my dick would be exposed, So I made this.
Crazy.
I made
thought
this.
You were talking like the whatever runway show that was that he did.
Oh yeah, no. So I had this website, and it went like hood famous or whatever. It went like the first day was like 50,000 views. But I basically just like sort of inseminated myself into the underground of this culture and sort of moved the needle towards people associating Rick, but like maybe streetwear as a whole, as this vehicle for like self-expression, for like being different. And that was really like the vibe of the time. I mean, I made this name Slam Baby YC. I just came up with this name. It's there's like an esoteric symbolism behind it. It's like the name of my website, slainbaby.nyc, but it's not read or pronounced that way. It's just understood that way. But anyway, you know, and people were making names like whatever, Takashi 69 or XXX Tentacion. Like that was, this is all established now. Like, you know, you go on Instagram, your run of the mill, like Joe Schmuck, 18-year-old will like make his name something weird, right? But like people weren't doing this back then as much. It was like, a way of differentiation, which like emerged in the advent of like the internet SoundCloud era, which, you know, I was at the forefront of. So, you know, it's like people simultaneously have ideas and then they're copied by other people and then it filters down into the mainstream. But, you know, I was at the beginning of that. And I lost interest in Rick Owens pretty much immediately. I mean, you know, I made that website to sell my stuff. That was me being done with it. But, you know, it took a while to get it all off. And then, you know, with the money I made, I traveled Europe on a motorcycle for, you know, like 8 months. People who follow me will remember that. I mean, people who followed me back in the day, that was in 2018. So I was homeless. I mean, and I was homeless. There's this famous picture of me wearing Rick Owens dunks where they're like totally destroyed on the subway. Mike took that actually. That was when I was homeless, you know, because my mom kicked me out of her house for selling drugs. And I was undergoing all this energetic stuff. I was really like struggling mentally, physically, spiritually back then. And, you know, my mom was like, get a job. I was like, I can't. And so she kicked me out. Anyway, so I sold all that Rick and I traveled Europe, and then I had a brain injury, which like, you know, basically resulted in me like having to like isolate myself in a cave for like 3 months. Like I was hallucinating. I was like seeing demons. I was so light and sound sensitive. I just had to sit in a dark room and not do anything, you know, for like 3 months straight when I was in Italy. And that really shifted my consciousness in a big way. I came back to the States after that. And then I moved out to LA right after COVID hit in 2020. And I've been here ever since. And now, you know, I mean, primarily I do music. I mean, I'm going to start releasing clothes later this year as well. They'll be, you know, available for sale on Not Your City YC. But, you know, I just do whatever I feel. I think that's the most important thing that I could say to anyone would be just do what you feel. And if you don't know what you feel, figure it out, because that's the only way to be who you are, you know, and everything else that gets you away from that is a distraction and it's not right for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I totally. This is crazy because okay, I can't relate to everything you said because a lot of that is like very personal to you, but bro, I've been unemployed for like a fucking year.
Uh-huh.
And I've had that same mentality where I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just like, I just need to do what I feel is best. I don't feel like a job is gonna be what's gonna like get me where I want to be right now.
Yeah,
you know?
sure. Totally.
And also it's interesting because like, I don't know, I mean, you were way before me, but I got super into Rick Owens when I was like 18 or whatever. I don't know, and I had a very similar thing happen where I collected a ton of it and then fucking sold it all off.
Really? Interesting.
I don't know. That was just funny to me hearing you say that because like the exact same thing happened to me where I don't know. It
Yeah, I
was like
mean, you know.
it was during COVID. I like started
Oh, yeah.
collecting like, more than ever, but I just lost interest at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. The culture has shifted in that way. Like that shit doesn't matter anymore. You know, it had significance back then, but I mean that's the way things were. Once something is filtered down to the collective consciousness, it's no longer innovating, obviously. So it's like people who care about innovation are the ones who change the world. And you know, if that's your bag, then you don't give a fuck about it. You know, and people who listen to themselves, basically people who listen to themselves want to bring something of themselves into the world. They don't want to, you know, copy what everyone else is doing. So, you know, obviously once everyone else is doing it, it's no longer got any purpose.
Yeah.
For someone who's let's say differentiated.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, like so many things, like the universe just sort of works that way. Like I'm not surprised to hear you say that you have a connection with me in that way. The fact that you have a connection with Jake, I mean,
Yeah.
Jake is someone who followed me and then asked me to be in his music video, and then he turned out to be dating someone. You know, I met up with him in LA, like it was the first time we'd met, and
Right.
I shot his video, and you know, we ended up having a vibe. Like we ended up hanging out at his house afterwards for hours, and you know, his girlfriend, who's from LA, ended
Yeah.
up knowing.
Carmen, right?
Yeah, Carmen ended
Mhm.
up knowing some of my friends,
Hmm.
and was able to like give me counsel about situations which were personal to me at that time. Um, and you know, I've run into her, and then I, you know, helped Jake out with recordings. I don't know. Anyway, it's just like, yeah, I'm not surprised to hear you say that. And right now, man, I mean, you know, I'll talk a little bit about what's going on for me right now. Like, you know,
Yeah.
as I've continued in this journey, like I said, I had a really intense spiritual experience at the beginning of this year. Um, you know, me honoring myself basically looks like me not hanging out with almost every person, because almost every person is like a faggot. You know,
Mhm.
that's just the truth. Almost every person that you see is mean and selfish and small-minded, and I just can't rock with that. I can't do it. When you start living for yourself and you start living correctly, you realize that in order to keep yourself correct, you need to only allow the people who are correct to share space with you. And, you know, whenever you're doing anything, it has to be from a place of, is this what's right for me? And for me, you know, having this experience meant I cut out almost everyone from my life. I unfollowed, you know, I don't, you probably haven't noticed this, but, you know, I only follow the people on my Instagram who are correct with me. I don't give a fuck about any of the bullshit that goes on here in LA. All these people that get around and like do drugs and just like hate themselves, really. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all it is. Like doing drugs is suicide. It is protracted suicide. You're basically saying to life, I don't want life, you know? Give me
Yeah.
something else. Well, the only thing other than life is death. So if you're not choosing life, you're choosing death. If you're doing drugs, you're killing yourself, albeit slowly. You know, life is only for those who are brave enough to say, give it to me, you know? Life is only
Yeah.
for those who are able to stand strong on their own 2 feet and say, you know, whatever you're going to give me, I'm going to accept. And, you know, this experience that I had, I fell in love with someone, and I'm not with them because it wasn't correct. And that's what you got to do when you're living your life according to what's correct for you. You know, even if something comes along that you think you want more than anything else, if you feel that it's not correct, you got to let it go. You know? Like you have to have faith. You have to be willing to say to life like, I'm not going to choke and do the thing that I think I have to do in order to be safe. Like life will take care of you if you let it. If
Yeah.
you life like, man, you know, this job sucks. I don't want to fucking do it. You know, like you're doing. You're like, I can't work. You're like, it's not right for me. You're like,
Right.
I'm gonna hold out for something better. You gotta have the balls to do that. You gotta be like, fuck you, you move. You know? And
Yeah.
people they think, oh, but then what'll happen? Like, will this person like me if I don't lie about who I am? You know? It's like, well, if they don't like you, if you're not lying, then that's not truly what's best for you. You know? It's the simplest
Yeah.
thing in the world. But like I said, most people are faggots and they just are incapable of admitting this to themselves.
Yeah. This is I'm sorry I keep saying like yeah, but this is like insane to me because I feel like I've been having these same exact fucking feelings lately.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
dude, this year I gave up everything aside from nicotine and
Yeah.
I'm currently like trying to get off fucking nicotine.
Yeah.
Um and like I don't know, man. I don't know. I haven't been like antisocial like in
Yeah.
a fucking anxiety kind of way. More so just like in a I wanna like do my own thing kind of way. Like I don't
Right.
really want to have people have influence on me.
What's
And
your was
huh?
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was gonna say it's like a tough path to take because people will get like upset at you or whatever.
Yeah.
'Cause they'll think like, oh, he's like ignoring me or this or that.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to like focus on myself, you know?
Misery loves company. You
Yeah.
know, people bond over their mutual dislike of themselves.
Yeah.
So when you start prioritizing yourself, you know, people they'll know, you know, if you start to say, I'm going to do what's right for me, people who can't do that will do the only thing that they know how to do, which is to like guilt trip. You know, they'll be like, why you acting different? You know, it's like,
Yeah.
if you're secure in yourself, you don't care about how someone else acts, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Like, you know, crabs in a bucket, they're like, I can't support myself, so I need to cling on to someone else. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
And I mean, that's how the majority of relationships on earth work. It's employers and employees and wives and husbands and children and parents who are like, I don't like myself, so, you know, you're not going to like me either, basically. Is really is what it is. It's just it's and it's crazy. And when you manage to remove yourself from it,
Yeah.
you know, you realize how fucked up it is, and you also realize that, you know, it just doesn't work for you. You know, it's like, you know, I mean, people are just fucking miserable. Like everyone is fucking miserable. And that's the cool thing about the internet is it basically unites all of our consciousness. So humans have access to the thoughts of other humans on a scale that's like completely unprecedented, and you can observe trends. And I mean, what that means basically is it creates such a force of homogenization that most people are endless. Like it means that the real ones are fewer and further than they've ever been, because, you know, you've got most people who are now like, oh, I can just be like everyone else. But the very small, minute percentage who is like, I can't, are now more cut off than they ever have been. You know, there used to be a path. There used to be a path available to artists, which was a little bit easier than there is now. For a true artist, you know, the universe, like if you said you wanted to be a musician in 1950, that was weird. Elvis was a fucking weirdo, you know? Like now, like saying you're a rock star or whatever is like de rigueur for like people who don't play instruments. But Elvis was a fucking weirdo. He was made fun of in high school. He had an inappropriate relationship with his mother. He fucked little girls, you know, like Chuck Berry had a scat fetish. Mozart had a scat fetish. Like James Joyce had a scat fetish, you know. Other people who I'm aware of who are currently famous have scat fetishes. Like the bottom line is being different is not the same as being like everyone else. And, you know, if you but now, in order to be truly different, because the structures in place don't exist, like you can't sign to a record label and be different, you know? You can't do that. Like it used to be if you wanted your music to be heard, you had to sign to the record label. But now you don't. So now if you're signing to the record label, sorry, you're not really an artist, you know? And it's like that for everything. It's now that the means of communicating are entirely within the palm of one's own hand, if you're not entirely relying on yourself, you're giving in to homogenization, which is why culture sucks now. You know, everyone, like, you know, it's been democratized. Everyone has a camera in their pocket, you know, but the quality is worse. Like, you know, think about that. Think about that. Every single fucking person on earth pretty much is a filmmaker now. And films and TV are the worst they've ever been. You know? It's like, but back when a very small segment of the population was able to dedicate themselves to, you know, because they needed to, basically, it was better than ever because they were dominant, you know, but now it's homogenized. Now, so, you know, you take someone like me who has 2,000 followers, who you don't really know anything about me, you know, that's because I'm the realest motherfucker on earth, you know? Like if I was famous, it would be a surefire, indication that I was actually quite lame. I might end up being more famous than I am now, but like I said, I mean, someone's got to do it. But it's not going to be because I suck dick to get there. It'll be because I stood in the middle of the road and said, "Fuck you, suck my dick," and I just waited, for everyone else to start doing it. And that's really what you got to do. You got to have courage in this life. It's the only thing that's ever going to get you to yourself.
That's so true. I don't even know how to like follow up with that, bro. It's just like it's just so fucking like on the nose, dude. It's so fucking true. And not in a bad way. I don't mean I just mean that's like the most refined way I've ever heard somebody fucking say that.
Well, if you're listening to yourself, you can speak the truth, and that's what
Yeah, like I don't know. I kind of wanted to branch off on that too, because like not only does everybody have a fucking phone and shit, like it's like everybody wants to be a designer, everybody wants to do something creative, and it's just totally like everything is just so fucking watered down right now, bro.
Yeah.
And I can't even think of something in the past like 5 years that's like really like I don't know. Gave me that like special feeling that like I don't know, things from a earlier time have. Like I kinda I I don't know. There's a part of me that doesn't like nostalgia because I don't wanna like think back on like something and think that that was the best thing ever, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But it's also like the way things are right now is so fucking tough.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, you like as far as you were talking about like self-reliance and all that kind of shit, you really do have to like know exactly what you like and what you look for in things in order to figure out like what's cool.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
And not that it was like easy to figure out what was cool in the past, because that's like everybody thinks different things are cool or whatever. It's like a individual thing. But nowadays it feels like everybody or like can agree on what's cool, and that's made it so fucking lame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like I don't know, new fucking I don't know, new Rick Owens shoe drops. Everybody's like, "Whoa, so cool." I don't know. It just nothing is niche anymore, bro.
Rick doesn't make those clothes, man. Tyrone makes those clothes. Like
that's what I'm saying, dude.
Like it's
that's
not
another
Rick
thing.
Owens. It's not Rick
Bro,
Owens.
I stopped collecting Rick Owens when Tyrone got like super fucking involved.
Yeah, it's Glitter was Rick's best and last show.
Yeah.
And after that, there's no point.
Yeah.
There's no point at all. And I mean, Rick, I went to the Rick Owens store in Paris. I went in 2018 on my birthday, and they gave me, it was 2018 on my birthday, and they gave me a present. And the woman there, Barbara, who was with the company forever, this old, austere, white-haired woman.
Yeah.
She was the one. Well, first I went there. I went there when I first got to Paris, which was in July, I want to say, of 2018. Yeah, I think it was July 7th or something. Anyway, I went there, and she thought I was a fucking bum, and she was like, "We're closed." But then I went back on my birthday, which is in October. It just passed. It was 2 days ago. I went back on my birthday, and I was wearing my Rick jacket. I have this goat leather Stooges jacket from Plinth, Fall Winter 13. And,
Plinth is literally my favorite fucking season, bro.
Really? Well, so I have this $5,000. Well, at the time it retailed for $5,000. This like goat fur jacket. That was. I still have it. It's the only Rick piece I still have. And besides the totes that they. Well, anyway, so I went on my birthday, and I was wearing my jacket, and Barbara let me in, and I think she remembered me, and I think she remembered how she treated me, and so because of that, she gave me a tote bag. She gave me a lookbook, and she was like, happy birthday. So I still have that bag. And then I went recently back. I was in Paris this summer, and I went back, and Barbara's not there. She's left the company. You know,
Yeah.
I went there to ask them, hey, can you guys fix my jacket, because I've worn that jacket to shreds. And I was like, and they were like, oh yeah, we can only do, you know, you have to have a receipt, you know, blah blah blah. It's like, and but the dude who was telling me this, he's a manager. He doesn't have any drip whatsoever. You know, in the store they've got these ugly Bose tower speakers. Like, get the acoustic speakers. Like, get the acoustics. Like, Bose. Like, I mean, but people use, you know, Bose is what other brands use, but like they're ugly and they don't sound as good. And it's like your flagship.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and like it's all crap, you know. And Rick knows this. Rick doesn't give a fuck, because he's incapable of giving a fuck, because like you or like me, he knows that it's not cool, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to be real. So like, but I mean, he got Owens Corp. He's got all these people under him. He's supporting the livelihood with this machine. So, you know, he's like, okay, you know, if it's printing money, then let it print. But you know, Rick has AIDS. You know, people don't talk about that. He doesn't talk about that. But Rick has AIDS, and you know, he's not designing anymore. You know, he's living. You know, however it is that he can live.
Is that out there?
No,
I've never heard that.
Yeah, Rick has AIDS.
Dude, the crazy thing is through the years, I've kind of noticed he has looked a little different. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's
spinning, I don't know.
Yeah, you can live with AIDS, and which he's doing clearly, but like, you know,
right,
and he's had it since the 90s, I think. But
oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I think, but you know, I mean, that's just what it is. Like, you know, his stuff comes out of that, but like now it's like time to move on. And but I mean, at the same time, like, you know, we're all still wearing clothes, so it's like you might as well wear some nice clothes. Me personally, I stopped buying clothes years ago. You know, many years ago. I was like, I'm not going to buy any more clothes. I'm only going to wear what people give me. And people gave me tons of clothes. You know, I mean, I like I said, I came up in this era and I know all these people, but you know, the universe just would bless me with clothes, and I've given most of them away. I have a very small wardrobe now. And, you know, like I said, I'm going to start cutting and sewing, and I'm going to sell those garments. But, you know, you got to wear clothes, but, you know, you got to be true to yourself. So what does that look like? I mean, Mike and I don't talk anymore, but he's working at Balenciaga. And, you know, Mike has a vision for that, I'm sure. You know, him and Demna are thick as thieves. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, Mike needs his own brand. You know, working at Balenciaga is the coward's choice.
Yeah.
You know, but
dude, I mean, it's actually kind of crazy you say that, because I have another friend who has been talking with Mike, and I know that I mean, I don't know. I know that Mike was planning on like doing his own brand, as far as I had heard.
Yeah.
Before the whole Balenciaga thing, and
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think he's a legend. But at the same time, he understands culture like better than most people, and to see him like go to Balenciaga has, I don't know.
I mean,
a bit of a disappointment,
you know,
I guess.
I know Mike very well, and I won't talk too much about him, but you know, it's just a part of everyone's development. I mean, that kid is, like you said, a legend. He's a genius. He's got the sauce, and you know, and people got to come into that in their own right, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, like it is the coward's choice, and you know, will he grow out of that? I mean, people do. You know, it's about development.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like you come into this life with your own personal struggles to overcome. Everyone does. You know, you come into this life to work, essentially. You when you incarnate, you're like, these are the things that I want to work on so that I can become a better person. Because that's all that life is about, is becoming a better person. And the way you become a better person is by listening to yourself. And once you do that, you'll find you want to help others. because when you have sauce, you want to give it. You keep, that's just how it works. Like someone like me, I live my life for other people by living it for myself. And the way in which, that's just how it works. It's perfect. It's immaculate. I protect myself, my energy, because that's how I'm of most use to people, is when I'm my most pure self. So, you asked me to come on your podcast, like we don't know each other. But I say yes because I know that I'm aligned. And I know that when an opportunity comes like this, it's correct for me. The only people who find me, the only people who, ask me for things are people who are correct for me generally, now that I've pruned my life to this degree. It's people are so lost in these relationships where it's like, oh, it kind of works here, but it doesn't work here. And then I'm going to use my mind to like try and fix it. But that never happens. You can never fix something which wasn't correct for you in the first place. You can, if a friendship, you're like, well, I like when he's nice to me, but I don't like when he's mean to me. Well, you gotta get the fuck out, because it's never gonna it's never gonna change. There's no such thing as repairing something which was entered into incorrectly. The only thing that you can do is leave it, and then maybe somewhere down the line there will be an opportunity for you to enter it into it correctly again. But it's unless you're willing to have the courage to prioritize yourself, and say, like, that's not good enough, then it'll never change. It'll never change. And I've been through that many times. I wanted to ask you though, what's your daily spiritual practice like? Do you have one?
Damn, dude, I'm kind of out of practice, honestly. I used to meditate a lot.
Yeah.
I'm kind of trying to fix my sleep schedule at the moment. It's kind of fucked up. Yeah.
Well, we could do something kind of fun actually. As we wind down. You wanna tell me your birth time and your I can give you some personal advice if you want.
Sure.
What's
yeah,
can you remind
so
me?
my
Can you
birth
remind me?
time was like 9 a.m.
Remind me of your first name. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And okay, so your birthday is what?
I'm gonna bleep all this out, but anyway.
Okay.
At 9 a.m. or like 9:05 or some shit. I can't remember the exact time.
24 is a good number. I'm also a 24. Okay, and what was the location?
October 24th. I was thinking that when you said that. I was like, yeah.
What's the location?
Of my birth?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Oh, do you fuck with Shed Theory at all?
Yeah. I've hung out with those guys.
Yeah, me too.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so like I expected, you're a generator. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at your human design profile. And human design is an esoteric system which is basically combined or synthesized. It was channeled to this guy Ra Uruhu in 1987.
Yeah.
Basically, the world is going to end, and this guy Ra Uruhu was given this blueprint for human incarnation, which is like end time knowledge. It's knowledge which will only find the worthy people in this world. And it's basically an instruction manual for how to live your highest bliss possible. It combines astrology, I Ching, Kabbalah, chakra, like basically all these major systems of spirituality. God basically said, here's how it works, really, to this one guy. And he transmitted it to others, and you yourself can learn about it if you want, and it'll basically tell you exactly how to find the most bliss in your life. So you, like me, are a generator, which is why you relate to what I'm saying, because what I'm saying really applies to generators, which is basically that your strategy in this life, like mine, is to respond to life. You respond to what comes to you. As a generator, you have what's called an attractive aura. So you're constantly attracting things into your path. You don't initiate. That's the most important part. As soon because that's what people think they need to do. They think I need to try. No.
Yeah.
No. Life is coming to you. What you need to do is listen to yourself, because as a generator, you have what's called a sacral response. You have this internal feeling which will say yes or no to whatever comes to you. So your task in this life is to focus on your own personal response, and then depending on what it is, follow it, and it'll manifest. It can manifest in countless ways, but you might notice yourself making noises. That's what a lot of generators do. I'm a very noisy person when I'm going about my life. It's constantly making noises with my mouth, and I'm vocalizing, like I'm saying or like I literally do this, like and also I notice it physically. I notice it in my mind too, in my head. But everything that I focus on, my sacral response basically tells me yes or no, and I just follow that. That's how I make art. I used to try to make art with my mind, and it would never work. And that's the thing with generators. You have this inner source of energy, so you think, oh, I can use it for whatever I want. But no, you can't. Anything you try to make with your mind will fall apart, because you'll lose interest in it. You'll lose your energy. Your energy is only available for things which are correct for you. And so when you're in something that's correct for you as a generator, you'll feel satisfied. But when you're not, you'll feel frustrated. So I don't know if you can relate to a feeling. So 70% of this planet is generators. So, if you're going about your life and you're feeling frustrated, you're like, shit, I gotta force myself to clean my room.
Yeah.
Can you relate to that feeling?
Yeah, I would say so.
Like I gotta go do this. Like I gotta.
Yeah. Like obligation.
Like I have to, like fuck, I have to do this, like I have to force myself, like I have to will myself to be able to clean my room right now, or whatever it is, like a lot of the generators I know, especially the particularly powerful ones who are really lost in the not self, their houses are a fucking mess. Like you because you can't, if you're powerful in this life, it's very difficult for you to force yourself to do the things that you don't want to do. So that was what my life was like when I was, when I was in Europe or whatever, when my mom kicked me out and I was homeless. I couldn't force myself to. I was unable to do anything. It was like I completely broke down. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. Like, I'm a smart guy. I'm good looking. I'm tall. I'm confident. All these things. My family's got money, but like I was homeless because I was so incapable of forcing myself to do things, and it took me going through the spiritual experience where I could align correctly with my response to now life is effortless. I only do the things which I truly want to do. Anyway, with that note, man, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna shower and everything. But it was lovely. It was lovely to talk with you on this podcast, and I look forward to hearing it and engaging with the response.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, is there anything? Sorry, not to get that was everything you just said was like fire, by the way.
Thank you.
like, bro, you're actually a mind reader. But I don't know. Before you head out, is there anything you want to say to the people listening, or I don't know?
Follow me on Instagram for more great content, man. If you're lost in this life and if you want help, you can reach out to me and I will help you. That's what I have to say.
Oh yeah, dude. I'll definitely be reaching out soon.
Hell yeah, man. All right, I'll talk to you later, bro. Peace.
Hell yeah. Peace, man.